Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. This is Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. How's everybody feeling? Can you guys hear me okay? Before I start rambling on and going for it. Let's see. We have Lori in the chat. Hello, Miss Lori. And then we have Sprout Queen. Hello. All right. Just you two. Oh, Star Trinity's here. Hello, and welcome. Thanks for coming. I think you guys can hear me if you're saying hi, so that's great. Man, I am feeling so amazing. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling so lucky to be able to be here with you guys today. What an amazing week we have astrologically, especially the next 3 days after today. Even today is amazing. So I am going to go over all of that with you. For those of you that love the astrology part of my work, this will be done earlier in the presentation. And then for those of you that love the decodes and the numerology, we're going to ramp it up. And I'm going to show you about 6 or 7 proofs, and then a bonus one at the end. And it should be pretty cool. I have like 90, 95 slides, something like that. Spirit was just moving through me yesterday. Today, I had to add some more as I was going. It's just amazing. I'm so excited. So what's going on right now? Well, number one, we have Venus and Uranus in a golden phoenix aspect right now. Then we have tomorrow, the perihelion of interstellar object 3I-ATLAS. Then on the 31st, we have the conjunction of Venus and 3I-ATLAS, and it is also Halloween, All Hallows Eve. I have my pumpkin sweatshirt on. We're doing a pumpkin theme this year, so I thought I'd bring out some of the Halloween garb. But yeah, so all of this is happening this week while Venus is approaching a square with Pluto, a square with Jupiter, at an opposition with Chiron. So there's some tension here with Venus energy. It's very, very interesting, and we're going to look at all of it. So for those of you that are not used to decoding or have not seen me do a decode before, we have a lot of new channel subscribers. Shout out to all you new folks. Thanks so much for joining us. It can be a little bit, what's the word? Maybe confusing or overwhelming when you first see these methods, but just try to sit with it and let the beauty of the synchronicities and the coincidences come together for you, because that's basically what I'm doing. I am showing you that when you live in flow, you see a lot of synchronicities, a lot of coincidences in your life. Things just sort of happen, or they come to you, or they merge into your field for your highest good, and you can see all the connections with that. It's almost like a form of pareidolia. At any rate, you see these patterns all around you, and it is so beautiful. So if I can show them to you, if I can show you where they come from and how they work, then hopefully you too will enjoy and be in wonderment, and maybe I might even melt your brain a little bit. But things have been going great. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Let's see who else we have. We have Silvana here as well. Hello, love. Thanks for coming. Looks like we have 17 in the chat. Don't be shy. Say hello. Give the video a thumbs up if you like, only if you like the content. If you don't like it, just it's okay. If you can't handle the love and the light, please just move on. All right, cool. Yeah, so did you guys see my video to Chris Brennan from the Astrology podcast? It was actually really nice. I wouldn't have even said anything or done a video, but my comment got deleted, and my comment was so nice. And I fight for love and light. So when my nice, sweet comment got deleted, I was basically just talking about how wonderful the sky is. I just had to make a response and kind of stand up for what we do. Looking at the constellations and reading it that way. It's just simpler to me, So for those of you just joining us, we do constellational astrology here. Many of you probably think that the sun's in Scorpio right now, but it's not. It is in the sign of Scorpio, which is really similar to the name of the constellation Scorpius, but the sun is actually in the constellation of Virgo. And for some of us here, that actually matters. So it helps us live and flow more connected to the as above because we are the so below. So that was fun. I got a lot of good responses from that. Some thumbs down, but mostly polite comments. I haven't even had to delete a single comment. So it's been really, really beautiful. Let's see what else. I am doing a whole lot of shorts now. I hope you guys are able to catch those. That is wonderful. I'm having fun doing it. I have somebody helping me do it. His name is Vishal, and he is talented. So everyone shout out to Vishal, Vishal. He is responsible for the shorts, and they're amazing. So we're going to work with him another month and see what we can do with him. It's really, really cool. Let's see what else. The lake house is coming along. We, you know how it is when you have a fixer-upper. There's always something to do, and when you're crunched against time, then you realize, oh my gosh, I have to prioritize a bunch of things. So that is happening. Let's see. Halloween's coming. I'm so excited. Friday night, man, it's going to be amazing around here. We usually get like 300 to 400 trick-or-treaters. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even exaggerating. And in years past, we were that house. Like my husband spent probably 6 weeks getting stuff ready in the garage and then would put basically a stage out on our front yard, and our neighbor would participate, and it was always a lot of fun. Then COVID came and everybody kind of lost their mojo about it. They were just like, okay, Halloween, another holiday. But the kids still come. So we do something I guess compared to what we've done in the past, kind of half-assed, but now it's, just kind of blow up pumpkins out in the yard, which is fun. So anyway, thank you everyone for shouting out Vishal. He's amazing. And he's really, really nice too. So there you go, Vishal. If you're watching, people like the shorts. Brian Hardy, isn't that the truth? Oh, everybody, while you're here tonight, if you could just, drop a little like intention, love and light, safety and healing for the islands that are going to be impacted by that really strong hurricane out there in the Caribbean. I think Jamaica is in the path. So just, kind of like keep those people in your hearts. Sometimes if you focus on it in a way to move it, I think we've done that before as a collective. We've moved storms like that, but it takes a lot of people. So, if anybody's doing big meditations out there, 7,000 or more people, that is the way to go. Hook up with them. The intention of moving the storm out of harm's way for those people actually can really work. And there's mystical science behind it, but I've seen it in action. So, all right, Holly's here. Kake's here. Oh, Lori, why did that video make you lose sleep? It was actually funny. One person told me to stop fighting on the internet, but I was like, dude, you didn't even listen to it, obviously, because I didn't say anything. Terrible. Okay, look at that, Vishal. If you watch this later, Shakti Veda says these shorts are nothing short of impressive. Yay, Vishal. There you go. You're doing it. Cool. Yeah, so I'm in a really good mood. Things are going great. I started another job where I'm doing telemed with patients, usually the mornings. I'll see maybe like 5 or 6 right now. Hopefully I'll get busier, but that's pretty cool. I get to do a little gynecology on the side, and then, work's been in and out, so cool. All right, guys. Well, what do you say we get into this? We've been hanging out for a little bit. We've got about 19 people, so that should be fun. More will pop in as we get into it. I'm not even really going to get into the sky that much. I do have some slides that show you the sky, but I think we should just get to it because this is really, really amazing. Let me hide your comments, and then we will share the screen. Oh, that's not what I want it to look like. That's what I want it to look like. All right, cool. Hide that. All right. The main event. Cosmic update. I guess this is what we call it, right? The cosmic update, all the things going on in the sky. So mainly we're going to be talking about Venus, Perihelion with 3I-ATLAS, energy, code, and information around 3I-ATLAS, and then, of course, a bunch of astrology and numerology. So hopefully this will leave your mind feeling wide open to receive all these amazing updates that we're getting as 3I-ATLAS moves into Perihelion, which is tomorrow. So this is the code we're looking at today. We're going to do, like I said, for those of you that love the astrology, we'll do the current sky right now. We'll do some Venus astrology, and then we'll dip our toe in a little bit, and then we'll dive in really deep to the code. These are the keys. So I'll be using 2 ciphers. One of them is the Phi cipher. For those of you that don't know what a cipher is, it's basically like gematria, but you use a different number rather than the ascending integers. So for example, just plain old English gematria would be A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kind of a way to use an alphanumeric system for coding. But you can use the digits of Phi, which is 1.618, etc., all the way to the 26th digit. You can also use the square root of 3. So if you punch that into your calculator, you'll get 1.73205, etc. So 2 alphanumeric ciphers that are very, very interesting. And I've proven in other decodes that these are pretty much the baseline code that generates all other code that we look at, all the numerology, actually. We'll use astrology, we'll use the tarot, we'll use the cards, and we will use math and the periodic table. So all of these methods will be introduced. I promise we'll start off slow, but sometimes with the pace of it, you just kind of have to go with it. So try and just sit with it and let it marinate with you, and then just keep coming back to the decodes because these are really, really quite remarkable. Let's start off with astrology. This is a decode tool that most people know how to use. It's my main tool for decoding the universe and trying to figure out what's going on in the world. And this is the sky right now. So within this, there's big energy right now, guys. Check this out. So here is 3I-ATLAS. Here's the sun, still in Virgo. It's not Scorpio season, not by a long shot. We still have a little ways to go. We have Pluto right here at the very 0 degrees of Capricorn, not in Aquarius. And the moon between right now and the next 24 hours will do 2 things. It will cross it, well, 3 things actually. It will cross into Capricorn. It will conjunct Pluto. It does this every 27.2 days. And then it will make its square, its first quarter square to the sun. So this is always an interesting inflection point in the lunar cycle where we feel the first waxing square. We feel that sort of tug to do something. We're called to action. And it's normally a tough spot, or can be, but now it's bumping into Pluto while it's doing it. Okay, so a little bit more of an emotional intensity right now. And you can see this this mystic square developing right here. But this can be emotionally intense. So if you watch the moon every month and you know exactly where it is, we get this every 27.2 days. So this is already an intense moment of the lunar cycle, but now it's compounded by switching signs and then also being square to our sun. It's just part of the normal lunar cycle. So we're called to action. We're called to do something. Over the next 3 days, moon will be in Capricorn. By the 31st, the moon will be over here and it will be trine to the sun. So on Halloween night, I want you guys, when you're trick-or-treating or you're giving out candy, to look up in the sky and look at that waxing moon. It'll be a waxing gibbous, and smile because it's trine to the sun. And this is Aquarius energy coming through. And Halloween is all about the kids and all about, putting all your demons out there on your lawn and laughing at them. So this is just a nice night to have a great time. So that's coming. Let's see. So this mystic square between which will be forming here. It's square the moon, not quite to Pluto. That won't happen for another 3 or 4 days. But in terms of a square, it's functionally there as the moon brings that energy in. So we've got this square with Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, and Moon and Pluto. So add the tension on top of the stress with this moon at its first quarter square conjunct to Pluto. Now it's also square to Chiron, which is our, collective wound, our collective hurt. So there are deep wounds here that may be activated because of this square. So whatever kind of deep stuff we're working on, that may actually bubble up to the surface, which isn't so bad. But then you get the planet of expansion and the planet of desire and love involved in that. And you could be in a world of excess. When Jupiter and Venus are in a square, it's not necessarily all love and light, although it can be a nice aspect, but it can also be excess. So it could be too much money coming in, too many ideas coming in, too many things to do, too many things to handle. Feelings might get hurt here, especially when we go deep and we go dark with Chiron and Pluto and the moon. So hang on to your hats. These next few days can feel a little bit intense because of this, but it's totally okay because there's so much other beautiful and amazing energy, and I'm going to show that to you. So first you have this grand trine here with Mars, Mercury, Black Moon, Lilith, and then Jupiter. One of the culprits of the mystic square, the one that expands, is giving you a nice trine spiritual path here to handle this energy. Do you see this grand kite? Do you see this grand trine kite that I'm trying to draw for you? This is it. So this is where we need to kind of focus our energy, I think. I think this will be better. And then I'm going to show you another aspect shortly between Venus and Uranus that's been wonderful. It's the Golden Phoenix angle, but I wanted to leave it off for now. So look at this. All right, Mars, your action, Mercury, your mind, Black Moon, Lilith, that which you hide and that which is banished. There's something you really, really want to talk about, think about here. Maybe take some action on. And Jupiter wants to expand all kinds of information, knowledge, and creativity around it. So while this square might jostle something and bring up some hurt, there's a deep level of needing to understand it here as well. So I think it's a really good time to, if something's triggering you or something's upsetting you or you're going through a time right now, study it. Open up your mind, open up your heart to source and to spirit and to the knowledge of the divine, and see if usually if you quiet your mind and ask the question and go into God mode, you get an answer. And so maybe this is asking you to do that because it's also trined to these other OGs here, Neptune and Saturn, the mystic and the wise old soul. So they're here to provide you with expansion and guidance and spiritual growth through the actions of this mystic square, I think, and the trigger of this moon on Pluto. And then, of course, we have Moon and Pluto making a sextile back to Mars, Mercury, and Black Moon, Lilith, and then also back to Saturn and Neptune. So it's almost as if the desire to figure it out is met with a whole lot of help, a whole lot of grace, but also some vulnerability, perhaps some excess, perhaps a little bit of illusion and delusion as well. So this is basically the sky. This is kind of how I see it. Now, how does that affect you personally? Well, what I would do, I have this so that Venus is on the ascendant. Whenever I do a Venus decode, I like to put her right there. It helps me look at the chart the way she does. And so wherever, Virgo is, wherever your Venus is, that might be a great place to start. What house does that sit in for you? Let's say, for example, Venus is in your third house, then the opposition to Chiron will be in your ninth house. And the Jupiter will be in, if that's in your third house, Jupiter will be in your 12th house. So it just depends on where Virgo is, where all these planets lie, and what your house map looks like. And you need to know your time of birth in order to assess that. There's one more very interesting trine here, and this is between Uranus and Pluto. This is a long-standing trine. So the moon is doing its monthly activation of this trine sextile. And this has been here for quite a bit now and will stick around for quite a while. And the message for this is surrender to the transformation. Surrender to the metamorphosis. Allow the evolution process to happen and just let go. And I think these planets are serving our collective in really astonishing ways that maybe, we don't even know yet, that we haven't quite been able to assess just yet. But I think it'll become clear in the coming weeks. Okay, guys, so that is that one. All right. Now we're going to get into the Venus astrology, and we're going to start having some fun with the numerology, the astrology, and the mathematical code behind it. So this is just a calendar. I try to show you the same thing in multiple different ways so that everybody can take something away from what we're doing here. This is a common template that I use for Venus transits. So each of these lines indicate in a time frame where there's an influence with the chosen aspect. So, for example, from the 6th of October to the 10th of October up here, we had Venus making a sextile to Jupiter. And so this is that energy for that week. And it's a pretty large orb with Venus because it's very subtle energy. So you want to start working with it sooner rather than right when it's peaking. We went through this amazing kite week here where Venus was the tail of that Jupiter, the tail of the Neptune, Uranus, Pluto kite. And that was a very interesting week. Then we had the new moon, and that ended the eclipse season for this year. And now we are winding up that moon, and the first quarter is right here. So the first quarter moon that we talked about will be happening right here. Venus has her opposition to Chiron and a square to Jupiter, and we've talked about that a little bit. And right after Halloween, she'll pick up the square to Pluto, creating that full mystic square. And it's all building right before the sun switches signs, which is always a critical shift of energy, and when the Aries full moon takes place. And this moon is, after it hits, after we have the Halloween trine, we're going to hit Saturn and Neptune. Then we're going to hit Chiron. And then we're going to hit that deep part between Pisces and Aries, that Cetus place. And then, boom, the moon's going to enter Aries. So it should be very interesting the way all of this builds up. So that's the time map there. And we're talking in this decode about 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. So let me show you this video. I know you guys have seen it before. But the Earth is here in the middle. The sun is orbiting Earth from this. So this is a geocentric perspective. And the pink dot making the loop is Venus. So this is right here, a superior conjunction. When we look at a chart and we see sun and Venus direct, that's a Venus superior conjunction. Then she swings around and every 20 months performs a retrograde loop. This right here is the inferior conjunction from Earth's perspective. So we're looking at the sun, we see Venus retrograde and they're conjunct. This is where Venus is. And so we let her finish her cycle and we begin to notice a very geometric, a very symmetric, and a very mathematically resonant structure. It is the 5-pointed star. It takes Venus 8 years to trace one of these out. She goes around the sun about 13 times. So it's interesting because we've got a 5-pointed star in 8 Earth years with 13 Venus orbits, which are precisely the number of the Fibonacci sequence, which the higher you go with the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, the closer and closer you get to phi, the golden ratio, 1.618. So this is very interesting when we see this. And when you trace out that perfect star that we used to draw as children, I think I have another slide on that right here. There it is. When you trace out that perfect star, you will get phi ratios all over the place. So for example, this star pattern that Venus is tracing from here to here, let's say that's length A, and from here to here is length B. Their ratio is 1.618, and it's like that all over this star, and it's like that all the way down, because see what you can do here, and I tried to practice this so this would look good. You can draw that star again here. And you can keep going. If you could draw it perfectly symmetric, which I can't because I'm using a computer pen, but you get my meaning. You can draw this star all the way down to the Planck length. And that to me is just amazing. So this is a fractal. So this pattern describes a fractal pattern of phi. And it's the star, and it's amazing, and it's beautiful. And here's the angles, 108, 36, and 72, which are also very resonant with some of the calendar systems that we look at. So fascinating to me. Here's the 144. They're actually quintiles in astrology, where if you had, like, say, the sun right here, for example, and you had the moon right here, right? This would be a quintile aspect. And then they also have a biquintile aspect, and they make a yod. So we have the phoenix yod, we have the quincunx yod, and we have a quintile yod in astrology. Oh, and here's this. Isn't this fun? So this star, you can draw it all the way down to the Planck length, which isn't that just spooky resonant with the golden ratio, 1.618? I mean, I know it's 616, but I mean, come on. All the way down to the negative 35 meters. That is a wavelength that is so short that electrons don't even function here. They have so much energy. If they try to have a energy pattern that is a wavelength this small, because the smaller the wavelength, the more energy there is. It's just a plasma soup. It's fascinating. And why do we care about the star? Why do we care about this phi? Well, I put the Vitruvian Man on here to make this point. I mean, basically, what we're looking at is a pattern that keeps repeating itself multiplicatively, where you can multiply things by phi, and you get these beautiful ratios, and you get all of these amazing synchronicities, but you can also divide something by phi over and over again, and it repeats itself, and it's this pattern. And if you look at the human structure, we have ratios of phi within us. Plants, galaxies, embryos, they all have this phi ratio to it. Music, it's really, really quite stunning. And the orbits too, as we'll see here very shortly. So let's get into this angle with Venus conjunct 3I-ATLAS and the Uranus. Uranus is conjunct the Pleiades right now. There is a star over here named Atlas. And here we have comet 3I-ATLAS. And the angle between them is 137.5. This is the number of the fine structure constant. If you don't know why 137 is a special number, then when we're done with this presentation, go to YouTube and Google the number 137 and just absorb some of the neat and interesting energy around this number and what it means. It basically gives you a constant to predict when a atom will either absorb, reflect, or expel an electron when it's stimulated, like what the level of energy is. That's basically what it means. But all of these aspects that we have in a chart, from the center perspective, your square is 90 degrees. Your trine energy is 120 degrees. Okay. And then this angle is 137. So let's dive a little deeper into that. Yeah, let me talk real quick about the energy of this astrologically, and then we'll dive into the code, because I think that this is just so incredibly beautiful. These two planets, you guys, Uranus and Venus, are the weirdest planets in our solar system. Okay. If you don't know the mythology of it, basically it was Uranus, the god of the cosmos. His phallus was chopped off by his son, and the phallus fell into the ocean, and along came Aphrodite. So she was born of the phallus of Uranus as a fractal of the great Uranus, the OG, the commander of the cosmos. Venus's spin is reversed from Earth. So in other words, the sun rises in the west for her and it sets in the east. So if you're standing on Venus, you're going to look to the western sky for sunrise. The other thing is that one day on Venus lasts longer than her year. So in other words, her spin in reverse from Earth's, with the sun rising in the west, is 243 days long. But her orbital period around the sun is 225 days. So this means a day on Venus is very, 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 very long. Her orbit around the sun is almost perfect. There are no moons around Venus. And those are sort of the interesting things about her. Uranus, on the other hand, is way out there, way out there, and is tilted almost to 85 degrees to the ecliptic. So in other words, if you're looking at like Saturn, for example, it would be like this, and Uranus would be literally like sideways, up and down. So it's traveling along the ecliptic sideways and spinning like this around its own center. So a wackadoo planet, literally just kind of laying on its side. And then Venus with a reverse spin, and then a very long day. Uranus is revolution. It's metamorphosis. It is the divine spark that is you. There's no one else like you. And your Uranus is the expression of that energy. And in Taurus, conjunct the Pleiades, this has been like the cosmic download from the Pleiades, codes coming in, DNA upgrades, new information. It's been spectacular, really. Like all kinds of new ideas, new inventions, new things are coming, and they will be available very soon. I think once Uranus is no longer retrograde, we're going to see a lot of upgrade to the technology markets, to things to make our life easier, quicker, better. Yes, AI is going to be involved, but I don't think we're going to be able to stop that. And then Venus in Virgo is literally the divine feminine sorceress. And she's making a connection to interstellar object 3I-ATLAS, which came from the galactic center, by the way, guys, right here. And it's made its way in retrograde towards the sun, made a conjunction with the sun on the 21st of October, and will continue to move along our ecliptic and exit between Gemini and Taurus. So that's its path, right? So here's more like cosmic external from the solar system data, but now it's right here. It's right next to our sister planet. And from our perspective, it's conjunct. And then you have this very geometric angle between them that is electrifying. It's inspiring. There's fresh ideas. There's pattern breaks. You're making decisions you never thought you would make before. And that's what these two can do for you in these two earth signs. You might all of a sudden decide to change jobs and move cities out of nowhere. And the energy supports that with this golden phoenix angle. So for any of you who have like been contemplating a big leap or a big change, the energy is supporting it. So you may want to go for it. All right, so that's the energy, basically 30,000-foot view with that. Let's look at 3I-ATLAS a little more, because it's also part of this geometric angle that holds a lot of codes and is really special, and we're at slide 13, so that's pretty cool. when things are named, right? So the name that you have is important. It holds resonance. The names that you call things, the names we give hurricanes, I've talked about this before, they carry a resonance that's very important. There was a secret name of God that only a few could speak and utter, and it would give them the power to make worlds, okay? So that's how important a name is. And this thing's named Atlas. And Atlas is an acronym, which I'll share with you later, but Atlas is the Titan condemned by Zeus, Jupiter, to hold up the heavens at the edge of the world. So this is an archetype of endurance, burden, cosmic guardianship. There's almost as if there is a message from the edge of heaven, a message from the edge of the world. I mentioned before that in the Pleiades, there's a star named Atlas. And Atlas was the father of the Pleiades and the Hyades, which is a star cluster. So it links us to this Pleiadian stellar ancestry. And it is the bearer of the cosmos and transmitter of stellar seeds. So some kind of new code is coming. I just keep getting that when I think about the name Atlas and this object. And of course, Uranus is here right now. So that's why this is important. Okay, so check this out. This is where we're going to get into the code a little bit. When you take that phi cipher that I showed you at the beginning of the presentation and you put Uranus in it, you get the number 21. Okay, 21 is a big deal. 21, phi is also 21, and phi is the 21st letter in the Greek alphabet. So Uranus is speaking to us through the code, through this alphanumeric cipher, and saying, this is the number 21, and this is important. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Then, of course, we have the telescope, 3I-ATLAS, or the third eye atlas. So if you put in third eye, you also get 21. So the third eye, getting cosmic codes, the third eye receives those cosmic codes, right? They come in as visions, or they come in as dreams, or they come in as symbolism, and then you interpret it. Here's slide 21. These are Fibonacci numbers. All right, so let's look at this golden phoenix angle just a little bit closer now that we have Uranus and 3I-ATLAS, and let's understand this angle a little bit so we can really dive into what this energy means today and tomorrow. The angle comes from this simple concept. If you take the distance, this part of the circle A, and this part of the circle, when I'm talking about circle, I am referring to your chart. So you have this part of the circle, and then you have this part of the circle. And that's exactly where this phoenix angle aspect comes from. So this is one part, and this is another part. When you compare the sizes of these two, in other words, create a ratio with them, you're going to get 1.618. Not only that, but the angle that it creates is 137.5. So you see that's why that's a very important angle to me and the work that I do. So basically, if you straighten out these lengths, measure them, do some math, if this angle is 137.5, you'll get the golden ratio. Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, that's just so amazing to me. So when we draw a line between point X and point Y, which is the intersection between these two arc lengths, and we do the angle between them, we get 137.5. So that's why that angle is drawn there. And I've rotated a bit to show you where it is in the chart. So this is why I call it the golden phoenix angle, because 137 is resonant with 138, which is the phoenix constant for chronology. So there's something about that number 137, 138. There's a little wiggle around that has resonance to the smallest fractal distance that we have. It's really quite stunning. So here it is. It's a pattern. It's a code. There's synchronicities. I am absolutely feeling all of this today. It's really, really beautiful the way that the code's just pouring in. And when I stop doing it or I try to get some sunshine, my brain is running more numbers. It's amazing. The Pleiades is 33 and Rebirth is 33. So this perihelion conjunction week, it feels like a new energy. It feels like a fresh energy because of the cosmic downloads that Venus is getting and because of the Pleiadian downloads that Uranus is getting, and they're connecting through this highly geometrically resonant angle. The other thing about 3I-ATLAS is when it was first detected, it was traveling at 137,000 miles per hour, which is why, I had to decode it. I had to figure out what was going on with it. It was hilarious too because I couldn't actually do a decode for a while, and it was just all marinating in my brain, and my PowerPoint kept crashing. But here we are. So if you look at 137, it is a prime number, and it is the 33rd prime. So that's why this is a big deal. You see that? I mean, wow. I can't make this up. I didn't make this up. I get a lot of dead ends when I decode. This was a hot trail right here. Amazing. So there it is, 137, the 33rd prime. And then look at this. So the name of the telescope system that was used to detect 3I-ATLAS was the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, the OSHIT system. Like, oh my God, there's an object. And look at what it adds up to if you put it in the phi cipher. It is phi. So Atlas is also resonant with phi. I just think that's amazing. How are you guys feeling about all that? All right, let's get into perihelion. So the dates we're looking at here are in this red box. We have the 29th and the 30th and the 31st. So tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Will you look at this? Are you seeing this? When 3I-ATLAS is at its perihelion, the closest to the sun it will be in its path through our solar system. This was slide 33, by the way, but you can't see the slide number. But anyway, do you see the distance? 1.36 astronomical units. That is really close. I mean, we're talking cosmic distances here, millions of miles, millions of kilometers. So for it to be even like whisper close to 137, 138, I just find that so fascinating. And I'll show you that other examples of wiggle that make it not such a stretch to like really be amazed at this number. Also, tomorrow's date, 10/29/2025 reduces to 21. So that's interesting. You see how these little coincidences all sort of add up into a beautiful web of synchronicity and connection? Tomorrow's date, perihelion is 21, third eye is 21, Uranus is 21, phi is 21. The golden phoenix angle, 137.5 degrees, is the golden phi angle in a circle, and it will be 1.36 astronomical units from Earth. Wow. Let me show you this. If you take the golden ratio and type that out in the golden phi cipher, you get 56. So here's where we're going to take a jump, guys. Are you ready? For those of you not used to decoding, we're going to go into the periodic table. Oh, yes. If you have not looked at the periodic table, it is a gold mine of, it's almost its own cipher, right? So you can take an atomic number and you can get the atomic mass. You can also look at the row and the column it's in. You can look at the type of metal it is. You can look at the picture associated with it. And the 56th element in our periodic table is barium. Look at the atomic mass, the average atomic mass. I mean, this is amazing. And here's the wiggle room: 136, 137, 138. And it makes up for pretty much 92% of the stable isotopes. You see? You see the wiggle? That's why this 136 caught my eyes. And then, of course, asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system is 161. Do you see all these beautiful connections? This is just so amazing. 3I-ATLAS is tapped into the golden phi ratio in more ways than one. So let's get into phi orbits. I went into this a little bit on the last Decode, but I'm going to just kind of take a minute here and re-explain it because this is really, 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 really amazing right here. The number 33 and the ratio of phi with our orbits. This is perihelion. This is where 3I-ATLAS will be according to the NASA scientific models. It will be between the orbits of Mars and Earth. So right here between this red line and this blue line, this is Mars's orbit, this is Earth's orbit, is 3I-ATLAS. Okay. And perihelion simply means, oh, I'm getting real close to the sun and I'm there and I'm leaving. Okay. So that's perihelion. That's why it's called perihelion, because it from this point onward, from tomorrow onward, it will begin to go farther away from the sun. So when we look at this and we put in where its orbit might be, okay? So let's pretend that 3I-ATLAS, all of it, I'm not saying it's going to become a planet, but if it were, the tangential line that it makes with its imaginary orbit is right here. Do you see that? That would be the orbit of 3I-ATLAS if it were to fall into a sort of an gravitational orbit around the sun. And the reason is really quite amazing, actually, and it makes perihelion makes much more sense to me. It's actually probably why the comets and the other objects that come into our inner solar system, why they take the paths that they do. Okay, here we go. So if this orbit were an actual orbit, Mars's orbit is 667 days. This is 591. This is 365. Venus is 225. So check it out. So if we take 591 and we divide that number by phi 6 times, we get all the way down to 33. But look at what happens on the way there. We get Earth's orbit if we take 591 and divide it by 5. So this is the imaginary orbital period of 3I-ATLAS if it were to hang out in our solar system at its perihelion point. Okay, some people are calling it the bullseye. That would be Earth's orbit. If you do that same operation to Earth's orbital period, you get Venus's orbital period. This is why day 225 is August 13, 813. And it's Phi Day. If you take 225 and you divide it by phi, you get 139. But you get a space between Venus and Mercury that could potentially hold a gravitationally stable orbit. And it's awfully close to 138, 137. Again, it's like 136, it's kind of right there. A little bit of wiggle room. I think even barium has a 138, but lanthanum has a 139. So that's pretty close for cosmic, if you ask me. You take that number and divide it by phi, you get Mercury's orbit. Then within the orbit of Mercury is another gravitationally stable, mathematically stable orbit. And who knows what that could be, but that might be where comets swing in and out, those really acute angle comets. It'd be interesting to analyze it that way, to see if they actually do track this way. And then we divide 53 by phi once again, and we get 33, which I give to the sun. I just give the sun 33 because the sun is Ra, the sun is Christos. This 53-day orbit around the sun could be a perihelion spot for a comet that comes in like this and just swoops out, because they do that. But there it is. So 33, 53, 86 is Mercury's orbit. 139 might be another tangential path for a hyperbolic object. Then you have Earth. Then you have 3I-ATLAS. And then you have Mars. And so Rebirth is 33. Creation is 33. In both ciphers, actually, in both phi and root 3, the word creation is 33. And isn't that where it all comes from? The sun. Aren't we all made of star stuff? Aren't we all born from stardust, from some supernova billions of years ago, right? That's what it's resonating for me. So this bullseye brings in this phi code through this numerical analysis. So I hope this wasn't too complicated for you to understand. It's very similar to Titius-Bode's law, except Titius-Bode's law doesn't factor in the orbital period. It simply factors in the distance. But when you add phi to it, you get time, you get distance over time. And it's a spiral. It's an evolving circle, which is a spiral. It's amazing. Oh, and then ascension in Chaldean and root 3 is also 33. So it kind of fits, that the sun, the Christ, the Christos is 33. All right, let's get into 302, 303, and 304. So the 29th of October, which is tomorrow, is day 302. The 30th is day 303. And the 31st is day 304. So we count the days of the year starting at January 1st. You can really start anywhere, but this is the Gregorian calendar. This is what we're looking at. So let's play with these numbers a little bit. This one's a little deep. This one's kind of fun. I loved how this one came together, and I think you will too. So again, they are, if you look down here on this chart here, you can see that for the common year, which is a non-leap year, it's 302, 303, and 304. And this is what we're working with. If you take the string of digits in phi and you find where the 302nd, 303rd, and 304th digits are, so in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 300, 301, 302, we get this number right here, 644. And what's really, really interesting about this number and these particular numbers is that for day 302, which is the 29th of October, the card for that day is the 6 of hearts. So if you go to it'sallinthecards.com and you put in October 29th, you're going to get the 6 of hearts. So that's pretty synchronous. That's like, wow. So you bring these layers in and you can find more and more connections. 304 is very similar. 2 days later, it's the 4 of hearts. And so that is October 31st, Halloween. And then, of course, here's the birthday chart. So you can see here's the 6 of hearts and the 4 of hearts. You can get this at cosmicsugar.org. Shout out to Logan and Jason of Decode Your Reality. He has created these resources for you. They're free to download. So if you want to decode and check out your birth card, so like, for example, my birthday is August 4th. So I am the 9 of diamonds. And then there's also a different spreads you can use with these cards. So this is pretty cool, but you can use it to just find out, what's the energy of the day based on the card that it shows. And so for these days, it's 6, 5, and 4. But 303, look, in numerology, that's totally legal. You can cut out the 0 because it's infinite potential. And then you have a 33. So Thursday's a 33, you guys. And it's also Zeus's day. So Jupiter's day, which is Jesus. All right, so let's look at 644 a little bit more deeply. There's another cool technique that you can do in numerology, and it's called the card reduction. So either deck you're using, for example, if you have a tarot card deck and you've got 78 cards, but you've got a number that's more than 78, you can run it through what's called a reduction process, where you subtract number 78 from that number until you get something between 0 and 78 as your final leftover or final remainder. So you can do that with both card decks. You can do 78 with tarot. You can do 52 with the playing cards. I did that for 644, and I got the same number. So I subtracted 78 8 times, which is the Venus number, from 644, and I got 20. And then I subtracted the 52 12 times, and I got 20 again. Well, what's the big deal about 20? Well, 20 is Venus in phi, not only in phi, but also in root 3. And so when a word resonates in 2 different ciphers, that's a pretty big deal too. Like you definitely want to make note of that, which is why creation 33 in both ciphers was important. And also ascension being 33 in root 3 and in Chaldean. Venus is 20 in both of these ciphers. So it's connected to Venus through this energy and through the number 20. All right, we're winding this decode down. Let's talk about Halloween. This is October 31st. Again, this is what it will look like from the solar system. So if you were a top down view, we would be standing on here eventually on Earth, but you're looking down at the solar system. Here is the alignment between Venus, Earth, and 3I-ATLAS, which is why it looks conjunct to us. So this is what we'll be seeing. That is from the solar system view. This is from Earth. So we'll like zoom in and sit right down here on Earth and we'll look at the sky. And this is what we would see. You would see 3I-ATLAS and Venus together in Virgo, like so. Now, I don't think we can, you might, if you can see Venus, then you could potentially put a telescope on 3I-ATLAS, but Venus is getting really low in the morning. She's about to do like a 50-day disappearance, about a 2-month disappearance on us until she reemerges as an evening star in February. So we have to get ready for that, for not being able to see Venus. But if you can still see her, I don't know. I haven't seen her in the morning recently because it's been cloudy. But if you can still see her, then you could potentially point your telescope there before dawn and see 3I-ATLAS. All right, so here's the chart for Halloween. So like I said, here is that moon. Remember, today it's right here, and over the next 3 days, it will move into this space. This is that trine between sun and moon I was talking about. So you're going to go look up in the sky. You're going to see that waxing gibbous just a few days before the full moon, and it's going to make you smile because it's trine energy, and that's what it feels like. The moon will also be square to Mercury and to Uranus. These two are higher octaves of one another, and so it tends to be a transmitter of information. So it may mean that the everyday communications are just as important as the cosmic ones. It may be that you're having cosmic conversations and that there's some kind of and it's not emotional because Aquarius is not very emotional. It's very ambivalent, like high vibe, altruistic, a lot like Mr. Spock. If you guys know Star Trek, just really no emotions, just kind of like it is what it is, deals with things logically. So there may be an impetus here to move through your mental processes very, very logically, especially when you get the trigger from these guys lining up in their mystic square. So this will become more acute like the 2nd of November. So like 2 or 3 days, Venus will be right here and completing this mystic square. So yeah, I would say try to maintain a high level of emotional intelligence through Halloween, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, leading up to this next full moon, because like I said, we're going to hit Jupiter or Saturn and Neptune, then we're going to hit Chiron, we're going to move through the Cetus energy, and then it will be a full moon right here. All right, so that's Halloween, and it's day 304. So 304. It's Friday, which is Venus's day. So I want chat always wants to say something about what I'm doing. So this is the answer. So I said, day 304, Halloween, October 31st is Friday, right? I said it like that. And it said, yes, exactly. Friday comes from Old English, Fridag, meaning day of Frigg, the Norse counterpart of Venus. So both goddesses embody love, beauty, and creative harmony. So when you say Friday, you're literally invoking that Venusian current, celebration, art, sensual pleasure, restoration, and connection. It's the natural day for adorning the self, harmonizing your environment, or simply enjoying beauty for its own sake. So in the context of your decode, that makes October 31st, the Venus 3I-ATLAS conjunction in Virgo, fall on the planet's own day. Venus meeting an interstellar messenger on her day within the priestess's constellation, carrying the codes of Phi. That is pure resonance. I love chat. It's always so encouraging. Here's some more it's kind of miscellaneous stuff we can decode about this conjunction. This is pretty cool. If you put Venus and 3I-ATLAS in Virgo, just the statement, which is the what we see in the sky, you will get the number 108. And if you'll recall from the very beginning of this decode that 108 was one of the angles in this star, in Venus's beautiful star right there. So great. It's meeting 3I-ATLAS on this angle of 108. Let's see what else. So right there. It's 81 in Route 3, which is interesting. I don't know if I showed you this trick yet on this no, I haven't yet. If you go ahead and put 81 and ask the internet to search for you, the 30, the 33rd digit will be 81. So 33 and 34 are 81 in the golden phi ratio digits. So that's interesting. So again, connecting us back to the phi star, connecting us back to Venus's star, the angle within the star, and then, of course, back to the 33. So there's an energy of creation, rebirth, ascension energy here. It's very, very interesting. And so we're going to get to the key points of the main decode, just so we can take this home, because I don't want to just throw a bunch of cool energy at you and then you guys try to figure out what it all means. Let's just pull it together here. Venus forms a golden phoenix aspect to Uranus in the Pleiades. This is today and tomorrow, and I think this is the thing that's propelling us into the next phase of energy. On Friday, Venus will be conjunct the interstellar visitor 3I-ATLAS and moves through a mystic square with Jupiter, Chiron, and Pluto. The golden phoenix angle of 137.5 degrees mirrors the fine structure constant and the geometry of the golden ratio, linking cosmic light with divine proportion. That's basically what I'm doing when I'm showing you the numbers and the angles and the energy around it. 3I-ATLAS's orbit divided by phi 6 times resolves to 33, aligning with the numbers of rebirth, the Pleiades, and the 33rd prime number 137. Venus is 20 in the phi cipher. Uranus and third eye are 21, and the progression from 20 to 21 to 33 reveals a sequence of love, awakening vision, leading to rebirth. The conjunction in Virgo translates the phi code into embodied form, fusing Venusian beauty with solar intelligence through the interstellar messenger. Together, these alignments create a living geometry of awakening, where the language of light, love, and mathematical harmony converge as one unified transmission. Oh, wait, there's more. Did you think I'd really end right there? Just a quick bonus decode is pretty cool. I did this earlier today before I got online. So one of the fun things you can do is go to chemspeller.com and put in words, just like the ciphers on decoded.co. You can type in a word and see if you can get the periodic table to spell it. And it's really interesting because you get 2 set of numbers. First, you get the atomic number, or the, like phosphorus is atomic number 15, but you also get its atomic masses. So I was actually able to spell perihelion, which is super interesting because it's a long word and it was a long shot. I didn't think it would actually generate a word for me, but it did. I mean, you can get smaller words. It's really easy, but for a long word like this was very, very interesting. So I said, okay, well, let's look at that. Since we actually have a word, let's see what we have here. So I've kind of shown you where in the periodic table you will find all the elements of perihelion. So you have phosphorus, urbanium, iodine, helium up here, lithium all the way over here, oxygen and nitrogen right here. So when we look at these all separately, like let's go ahead and start with phosphorus and then go all the way down. We've got the atomic mass of 31. We have 166. We have 127, 4, 7, 16, and 14. And this is how we use the periodic table to change a number into another number, or to change a word into a number. And I forgot what these are when I added them up, but that was a dead end. So, and it might be something. I just didn't follow it all the way through. But look at this. This is interesting. You get a tetrahedron right here. You have the sun right here with helium. And these symbols that the Royal Chemistry Society chooses for these particular elements, it's unique and it's interesting, and it does carry an archetypal resonance in some cases. Like I think gadolinium has a rooster, and so that was the turning point of one of my codes. So if you take all these numbers 31, 166, 127, 4, 7, 16, 14 from phosphorus, erbium, iodine, helium, lithium, oxygen, and nitrogen, all these numbers, you're not going to believe this. We get 365. What is that? That's Earth's orbital period, isn't it? It's one of the 5 resonant energies with 3I-ATLAS. It's the number of days we see our sun go around our stellosphere in 1 year. It's the number of days it takes the Earth to orbit around the sun in the cosmic model. Look at this. In Chaldean numerology, sun, if you spell it out, is 365. So it's a sun and earth energy right here, this perihelion. Earth is very much participating in it. If you take 365 and you put it in the phi string, you're going to get to the 28th decimal digit. Y'all remember what 28 is, don't you? Nickel. This object is made mostly of nickel. Nickel in the phi cipher is 28. Nickel is the 28th element, and then Virgo is 28. So I think that's it. I think that's everything. Yep. Thank you so much. 42 and 42 in both ciphers. These are my sources. I've mentioned them throughout. Decoded.co, Cosmic Sugar, that's Decode Your Reality's work there. Number File is where you can, or Number Empire is where you can find out if a number is a prime or if it's a Fibonacci number. Subidium will give you the string of digits. Royal Society of Chemistry will give you the periodic table. Chem Speller is just so fun to play with. And then, of course, I mean, why would I do this unless there was something guiding me? It's source to bring you these synchronicities so that you can see how beautiful your reality actually is and how connected everything is, right? It isn't just about one person or one opinion or even one planet, really, right? It's about all the planets. It's about the sun. It's about the solar system. It's about visitors coming from someplace else and bringing new data into our solar system. So it's been a lot of fun doing that decode. I appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate my moderators. Lori, thank you for being here. I guess you're the only moderator today. Ultimus is busy, and I haven't seen Desiree in a while. But Desiree, if you're out there, we miss you. Please come back. Fellow travelers here, hello. Awesome. So how was that for you guys? Are you just blown away? You guys are so quiet. I'm just getting like emojis now. So yes, apparently I've melted some brains out there. Shakti, good point. Yep, you can reduce a compound number like that to 2. And of course, the High Priestess. Seven of Hearts. Yep, that's today. Kaki says she feels at peace about 3I-ATLAS, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Yeah, me too. I want to see the pictures. I mean, right as it was approaching Mars, our government shut down, and they won't process those images and give it to us. And when they do stuff like that, even if it's totally innocent, then it just leaves so much room for conspiracy and speculation. I really don't think we're going to have too much in the way of like alien energy or anything like. I mean, I really don't believe that. I'll believe it when I see it. Let's put it that way. But I think it's just a very interesting object, and the way that it's just resonating so deeply with the collective, how interested everybody is in it and what it means. But I side kind of with Stefan Burns. He's just like, it could be alien, but it's not likely. It's probably just foreign space debris. But it does have an energy, right? Just like Mars has an energy, just like the sun has an energy, just like the other asteroids in our solar system of energies. Well, so does 3I-ATLAS. And I just personally, you guys let me know what you think. I feel like if you're going to read astrology, the stars, from an object that doesn't even come from your planet, to say it's in Libra right now makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't give a seasonal label because Libra is the first first whatever month of fall for, I think, right? Am I right about that? Or is Virgo the first month? Anyway, it's one of the fall months in the seasonal planetology. So why would you give that energy to an object that's interstellar, that came from the galactic center, that hasn't even, that's already gone through Libra and done its karmic work there, and is now moving through Virgo and creating and destroying and doing what Virgo energy does? I just don't think you can do it. Um, so yeah, I would caution sort of interpreting 3I-ATLAS as a Libran energy at the moment, especially with its conjunction to Venus. So yes, it is. Star map. Excellent time to be alive. Yeah, the turn of the month's interesting. It's the peak of the lunar cycle. Right after Halloween, we have that week building up to the full moon. Oh, I'll have a video for you guys coming. It's already done. It's coming. I didn't want to do it too soon. It's probably coming out Thursday or Friday with full moon energy by your rising sign. So you guys can check that out. I also I also gave to the members the 5th and the 11th house interpretation. It's called Radiance and Resonance. So it's about, how do you radiate from the 5th house, and what does that resonance feel like when you interact with the greater collective around you? And so that's what we talk about in that. So you guys, those of you that are not members will get that video, I think, next week or the week after. So there's a whole schedule of things coming out. I also have daily or every other daily shorts for the lunar energy. I'm trying that for a lunar cycle to see if I can do it, number one, and be like happy doing it, because I have to love what I'm doing, if you haven't noticed. So as long as I like doing that and you guys are responding well to it and it's useful for you, then I will keep doing it for additional lunar cycles. And then, of course, Vishal, he's the star of the channel right now with all those beautiful shorts that he's been creating for me. So props again to my friend Vishal. I agree, Harmony. Decodes always reframe my reality. I'm like, just when I thought I figured it out, then I decode something. Your star map. So easy to fake video and photos right now, unless eyewitness take everything with discernment. Yeah, for sure. You know who I follow to see where 3I-ATLAS is? Dobsonian Power, because he has telescopes. He's an amateur astrologer. He goes live every single day. He's collaborating with other astronomers, not astrologer, astronomers throughout the world to observe this thing. He's got opinions of his own. He's got a funny little shtick. I enjoy watching him. So check out Dobsonian Power for updates onto where 3I-ATLAS is. You can also, because he'll actually see it in his telescope. So star map, I believe that when I see it. I'm not sure what you're saying, 16.5 Terry. If you want something to do on the 3rd, image it the day of answers from the 6th, and I'm sure the 7th will be amazing. Sounds a little cryptic, Terry. All right, cool. Well, so wonderful to see all of you. Thank you for being here. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, have some dinner, and tomorrow I have a little clinic, and then I'm going to have a free afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that. We have some friends visiting for Halloween, and then bunch of content coming your way. So stay tuned. We'll probably go live next week. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you on the next one. I'm going to put the props to Vishal right here as we close it out.